Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event. Fight fans worldwide, you've tuned into the number one undisputed boxing podcast today. This is the Boxing Breakdown. Now, your heavy-handed, hard-hitting host, Mark Roxy.
What's up, and welcome to another edition of the Boxing Breakdown. I'm your host, Mark Roxy, and I'm here with my partner in crime, Mr. Harold Hunt. What's up?
What's up, man? How you doing, man? What a setup you got back there. Looks like you're running the whole world back there. You know, ABC, NBC, CBS. You got it all back there. Looking good, man. Thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, we're grinding over here. We got a bunch of different events coming up, and just gearing up for that. And so I didn't want to miss our podcast, our weekly podcast. So I thought, you know what? Let's just do it from the shell. So here we are. We're not in our traditional office, our studio for the podcast, but we're out in the field. Hey, why not, right?
Absolutely.
I know, man. So tell me, what's been going on with you?
Well, there's a convention coming up in Colombia, the country of Colombia, WBO convention that I'm contemplating going to.
Okay.
That's going to be interesting. I got to see how me and my cohorts are going. A lot of them are going. I don't know. As far as everything else is concerned, I'm just doing the stuff I do all the time. I'm in the middle of like football season. I'm an official in the field, so finishing off that and playoffs coming up, and then I roll right into basketball and that kind of thing, and just trying to continue to enjoy my life and just keeping up with my favorite sport, boxing, which is so up and down. I just really enjoy everything that goes along with it, the good and the bad.
Yeah, it sounds like you're busy. I mean, going from, boxing to football, the boxing to basketball, the boxing to, all the different things you're up against and doing. It's pretty amazing. And but so let's talk about what you got on your mind. I know you have a lot to talk about this week, folks. Harold has been like he's got a lot of scuttlebutt. I know that. So where are we at?
Well, of course, our first topic is boots, which is kind of a drawn out topic. And my first estimation of the fight was I was pretty heavy with it, as in I broke it down all how to cook a steak and this and that. But it came to my attention that I was kind of going overboard with it. So just basically what happened was he just outclassed the gentleman, and that was it. I believe it was a particular thing that happened that the class rose above, but it was kind of a heavy explanation, and it's been beat to death since the fight. So I just want to leave it at that he simply outclassed his opponent, and now he gets to move forward.
Yeah, he did do that. I mean, he basically took him out faster than I expected. Although I really didn't have an expectation of the fight. Except that Boots, of course, should win, and he would win. But, the fashion in which he took this guy out was, pretty impressive. Really, really impressive knockout. And, I mean, there's really not too much to say about it. I've been, in the gym, when I went out into the gym yesterday, it was interesting because a couple of guys came up to me and they were like, "Man, did you see the fights?" And I go, "Well, I was actually doing fights myself, so I didn't really catch it. But what happened?" And they were like, "Man, he needs to fight somebody like on his level." That's kind of what the scuttlebutt is that I'm getting out there in the gym. A lot of the guys are like, "Why didn't he fight somebody, on his level? Who's out there that he can really compete against, who can even deal with him. He's so good. And then enter Virgil Ortiz, and then here we are, right?
Yes, we are. Ortiz has the backing behind him. He has the Mexican pedigree. He
Mm,
has everything that's going to make the fight a good fight. Boots has now enough cachet where he can actually get some tickets sold because
right,
he was able to do that. A splash knockout always gives you fans, and Ortiz has what he has. Then you got Eddie Hearn and De La Hoya, who's going to be promoting it, and they can actually do that because they have the mechanisms to do
right,
that. This is going to be something when it's put together.
yeah,
So it's going to be a good fight. But in actuality, I just see another Shakur Stevenson versus the gentleman he fought recently, where he had to show everything and he kind of dominated. And I kind of see Boots doing that. I wouldn't have thought Boots had that kind of pedigree until I saw him hit a few times. And he's
yeah,
been hit, not by anybody of note that we know of, but he's been hit clean and he's been able to withstand that. And Mark,
yeah,
as you know, in any fight, you take the shot from the guy delivers his best shot somewhere in the fight, whether if it's a first round knockout or whatever, but you get to give your best shot to your opponent at least one time in any fight. And
yeah,
he's received that shot and he's fared well.
yeah. No, I mean, to be honest, like he has been tested. He's been hit with some shots. He hasn't really been hit with multiple shots and been hurt and had to survive being hurt, survive being, seeing triple. He hasn't been in that moment in a fight where he's seen, three of the guy and he's got to hit the one in the middle, and none of that has happened to Boots yet. But I mean, facing a formidable opponent like Virgil Ortiz, that he's a hitter. So Virgil Ortiz can catch him and, give him that test that he really needs to have, which is why I hope this fight, sees its way to the finish line, because those two guys, will deliver a really, really exciting performance, I think.
Yeah, I believe so. So I think the public will look forward to it. You know,
Yeah. I
as
mean,
I
the thing
please go
about
ahead.
Boots is the switching, man. His ability to switch is pretty impressive. I mean, I think he took out his last opponent. What was the gentleman's name that he just
His last name is so forgettable. You Lima, I believe.
Lima? That's
But
his last name. Yeah, but he took him out.
as you sp-
He literally, Harold. He took him out in it was pretty. Yeah, I mean, if you paid a lot of money or you had a lot of sponsors there for that event, it's kind of like a Mike Tyson. Took him out in the first round. It was really not too much to see. I wonder how the people who paid money to go to the arena and see him, really see him for a while in the ring, how they felt about that. But that's not my main concern. My main concern is that you know when he switches like that, he's devastating even as a southpaw. He took out that guy as a southpaw. It's incredible.
Speaking of switching, when he switched, the other guy was totally confused and he was knocked out.
Yeah, he wasn't not at all, Harold. He wasn't ready for that at all. Um,
Nope.
yeah, so I mean, we could beat this dead horse. I mean, we already know we got a little bit of time to wait until we see, uh, you know, Ortiz and you know these two guys lock horns. So I'm waiting for that. I'm really anticipating that fight, and I hope it makes it. The promotion makes it to the finish line. So what else you got? Talk to me. What?
Well, as you know, Laura is the champion at 160,
Yeah.
and he is going to do a unification fight with the other champion who has a double belt, who has two belts, and his name
Right.
escapes me. The other champion is Adamek at the WBC. Now,
Yeah,
all this
Carlo.
lines up for our boy Crawford to drop down to 160 and
Yeah,
become undisputed again. However, two fights have to take place. Lara is signed to fight the other champion who has two of the belts. I should know his name, but it escapes me right now. And they are scheduled to fight. Once that's complete, whoever the winner will have the three belts. Then Adamek, who's a WBC champion, will fight that winner, which will make an undisputed champion at 160. At that point, Bud will drop down to 160 and make history by beating whoever that happens to be. And we may see a retirement out of Bud because there's
really.
nothing else he can do but make history. He can't. It's not going to take any tune-up fights. There's not going to be any rematches. It has to be something that is going to motivate him. And
Right.
to be four-time undisputed champion at four weight classes, he's just waiting for an opportunity. So back to the fights. Lara is older now, but he's been taking people out. So that's going to be a good fight, whoever he's fighting. And Adamek is an excellent fighter as well. So 160 is going to be exciting until Bud comes down and takes everybody's belts. But to get to that point, we're
Well,
going to have at
allegedly,
least two good fights.
we don't know that he's going to come down. I mean, listen, Carlos Adamek and Crawford have locked horns before. They have locked horns in the gym before, so I'm very aware of that sparring that they had with one another, and it was literally a war. It was a war, and I didn't have to pay to see it, but that was a war. And so if they meet, that's going to be a very, very serious fight. I don't know if Crawford would want that fight. I don't think he would want that fight. Um, so, but yeah,
Really?
no, I don't think he would want that fight. I think
Okay.
it's a dangerous fight for Crawford. I don't think there's any need for him to take the fight, especially if he's planning on an early retirement. Why would he want to take a fight with Carlos Adamek, who's a monster? He's a monster at that weight.
Well,
So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Crawford's team. If you guys think I'm wrong, by the way, you can leave your comments here down below in the comment box. If you're visiting us on YouTube or Facebook, you're more than welcome to leave your comments there in the box, and we'll reply to them.
please
Uh,
do. Please
and
do.
and by the way, thank you if you're listening to the podcast on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for being with us, and don't forget to share the podcast with those in the boxing community. We are an exclusive boxing podcast, really geared toward conversations and chat in and around the sport of boxing. So, yeah, share the podcast if you like it, and we appreciate that very much.
Beautiful disclaimer. Now, back to the Lara fight. Lara could possibly win. Adamek doesn't necessarily have to win. He may not win. He could lose on points. He could run around and try to chase Lara. The other champion who has the two belts, I should know his name. Mark, what is his name? Who's the other champion at 160?
I don't, I'm not
Uh,
sure.
you are not at the house. I mean, you are not at the studio, so you can't pull it up. But
Yeah, I can pull it up.
there's a chance
Give me
that
a second.
Adamek may not win. I mean, stranger things have happened.
Yeah,
And if anyone other than Adamek wins, Bud may consider it only because he knows he's superior to those other two.
yeah.
So we don't know how it's going to work out, but we will get two good fights leading up to an undisputed at 160. And
Right.
that is worth looking forward to. Whether Bud drops in or not, we're going to get an undisputed champion at 160.
So we're looking at super welterweight, right?
No, 160, 160.
Okay, so you're
Middleweight.
talking about. So I think what you're talking about is Yanabek, right? Yanabek.
Yes, Yanabek.
Tully. Yeah,
Yes. He
yeah. I
and
remember.
Lara are signed to fight to unify. That will happen. The
Right.
winner of that gets Adamek.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he's a solid competitor for sure. Solid competitor. you got Zanabek Alamakali. You've got Chris Eubank is there. Chris Eubank Jr. Excuse me. Carlos Adamek is number 3. Um, Aaron McKenna, Austin Williams, Michael Zirafa. Yeah, I mean you got some pretty good. A lot of unknown fighters. Actually, Vito from the U.S. You got Vito Melnecki Jr. He's at 18. That's interesting. Um, and Marquise Taylor is up in there. Troy Isley is at 23. uh, Jaha Tucker is at 24, and then Eric Priest is at 25. Those are all American fighters. So we got the 23, 24, and 25 spot, and the 19 spot, and the 18 spot. So yeah, everything else is actually Austin Williams is number 5. So yeah, we got some Americans in the top 25 for sure. Um,
That's true, but it's about the champions. Right now, the taste in all boxing's mouths is unifications, undisputed. So all
yeah,
those guys you named, they're not going to get any play. They're gonna put together the champions as they have already with Laura and Adamek. I mean Laura and the other gentleman whose name I can't pronounce.
yeah,
That will happen. That will produce a unified 3-belt champion. They're gonna go right to Adamek.
yeah,
All the contenders and all that, the mandatories, they won't. That's not hot right now.
right,
You
yeah,
can forget your shot right now because the world wants undisputed. The world wants to see that. So that's what's going to happen. And if
So what do
there's step aside money or whatever, those guys that you name who are qualified and capable will not get in this tournament.
What do you think? What's the story with Canelo? Where are we at with Canelo and his? What is he doing?
Well, Canelo can do whatever he wants. There's no belt on the line, so he can use his popularity and fight anybody he wants to fight.
Yeah,
Uh, it's kind of not, I wouldn't say a farewell tour, but he can travel the world, fight whoever he wants to fight, draw in, people who want to see him. Um, Once again, he kind of gets a pass because he got beat by the best person available in our sport. When Floyd beat him, okay. Now this guy beat him, it's okay. So
yeah,
he's not really hurt in that manner. He wasn't knocked out or beat up or anything like that.
yeah,
So he can go on the Mystery World Tour and do very well. I don't know if he wants to get back into any kind of contention and get any more belts. We don't know how that's going to go, but he can go enjoy himself. He can really, if he wants to continue to fight and train, and since he loves that so much, he'll have opportunities to do that.
right. Well, did you hear about it, Amanda Serrano? She's got another fight coming up.
Yes, she is going to go ahead and fight another young lady who is well acclaimed and has a
Yeah,
great background and very powerful. And that's just continuing that the ladies breakout in our boxing community as far as must see fights, and it's good that that can be put together.
yeah, she's fighting Erica Cruz. That's who she's fighting. Yeah, Erica Cruz, and yeah, so that should be a very interesting fight. Erica Cruz is up and coming, um, but I don't see it going her way. I think Serrano will, you know, make early. I mean, it may go to a decision, but Serrano should win that fight. Um,
Well, I would believe so, but it's going to be great entertainment up until is complete, and
right.
and that's basically what you want to see. Her fighting, rounds and showing her skill set and all of that. People don't necessarily look for knockouts in women's bouts,
Yeah.
so they enjoy the round by round domination or back and forth. So it's going to do exactly what it needs to do for the fans to enjoy. And
Yeah.
I think it's a good move for her.
Right. Yeah. No. Absolutely. Another in other women's boxing. I mean, I don't know if you've been paying attention to what's her name? Alicia Baumgardner, and
Yes.
she had a little riff, I guess, with what's her name from Top Rank.
I don't know the name, but I do know that Baumgartner constantly puts herself in position to be in a in your mouth a controversy.
Oh yeah,
She's very out front with her skill set as far as what she can do. She's appealing physically to all sex of people. Men, women,
yeah,
boxing fans, casual fans. So she's doing very well in that category, and she can actually, I mean, she can fight. So
I
I
saw it.
believe what she's doing now, and constantly doing this and that. I think that's really good. I really think it's just boosting the sport, and uh, she's going to be the next figurehead in the sport after some of these other people kind of move out of the way. She's young,
Yeah,
and she can do that all. I'm looking forward to have some start to get some major endorsements on television, meaning makeup or cars
yeah.
or this or that. And I foresee that in the next year or so. So I believe she's really going to take off, uh, and she's a knockout puncher. Now her next fight, she's going to be doing 3-minute rounds because she gave up one of her belts. As you know, she was undisputed. The
Yeah.
WBC refused to let her fight 3-minute rounds. So she gave up her belt, her WBC belt, and she retained the other three. The other three will allow her to fight 3-minute rounds. So her next fight, she'll be fighting 3-minute rounds, and she wants to produce knockouts. She wants to produce a knockout because she knows that would move her in the mainstream.
Oh yeah.
Yes, Shields fights well, but she doesn't knock people out. And if you can get a knockout fighter in the women's ranks consistently, that is a cash cow.
No doubt, no doubt. I mean, yeah, that having a female who can knock people out certainly will draw the eyes of the mainstream boxing community. Um, you know, yeah, that's not easy to come by. A lot of times these fights go to decision, but yeah, if you've got knockout power and punch power like that, you'll make some good money in boxing as a female fighter. Having that. Uh, in other news, obviously, the W. By the way, shout out to Indios Boxing. I believe they're tuning in right now. What's up? What's up? What's up? Indios Boxing in Allentown, Pennsylvania. The best gym on the Eastern Seaboard. Don't miss it. Get into the gym. We got the best fighters out there. Anyway, little plug, Harold, for Indio, who's watching now.
As you
And
should, because they
yeah,
got the goods
that's,
out there.
that's my guy. That's my bro. That's my brother. But he's got, we got in the gym, we've got Jonathan Rodriguez, Tonjay Teasley. I mean, there's a handful of fighters in the gym, including Brittany Sims, who, congratulations to Brittany Sims. She just won the WBA title, female title. And so on to bigger and better things. I know that she's looking forward to unifying and trying to get some of those other belts. Looks like some of those champions out there are avoiding Brittany Sims, I think, from, this gal from Russia, from Australia, Nukis, I believe she has a fight coming up, but it's not with Brittany Sims. I don't think she's, you know, seeing her on the radar, but hopefully, those girls will get to clash in the near future, and hopefully it'll be here on American soil, and we'll get to show the world what we got in the gym with a Brittany Sims, who's amazing. She's an amazing fighter. You're gonna love her, Harold, when you see her.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um, there is a cancellation that kind of perplexes me.
talk to
Pandora was to fight Thurman, but he had a hand injury,
me. Yeah,
and they
what
pulled
was
out the. Pardon me.
what was that about? I was doing a fight. I was
Yes.
involved in a fight this weekend, and I saw that come across the news wire, but I didn't get a chance to even read that news. What happened?
He has a bruise. It's not a broken bone. It's not a. It's just a bruise, but the bruise happened 2 weeks out,
Okay.
and uh, a bruise is something that can heal. There's no surgery. It
Yeah.
just has to have time. What's perplexing to me is that all the other undercard was canceled, which has some great fights on it.
They can't
So
full card.
they canceled the whole card.
What?
And that was surprising to me because I believe that the balance of the card would be good enough for to still have to have the show. However, it's been scrapped, and we have to go forward with that. Fundora may not even fight Thurman. He may just it's over, and they just move on to the next guy.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
don't know how that's going to happen like that, but it's kind of. I don't know. I'm not even going to say, but I thought the undercard was great, and now it's all these guys are looking for fights, or they're trying to piece them here and piece them there. Where that was going to be a great card in my opinion.
Yeah. How about, hey Harold? How about the two division world champion, um, Danny Swift Garcia hanging up the gloves? You hear about that?
Yeah, Laura was able to stop him, and Danny had one last fight. Okay,
Yeah.
and supposedly that's going to be it, and he's going to ride up into the sunset. He's done very well financially. Um, he still has his faculties. He
Yeah.
wasn't
Sure.
in really any heavy fights. And if you ever listen to him and watch him, you see that he seems totally unaffected by any type of punishment because he's just as articulate as he was earlier, even more so now. And if you look back at his fights, he never really took heavy punishment.
Right.
So, good for him. That boxing bug is hard to get off you, though, man. It's worse than crack cocaine or
Yeah.
alcoholism. It is a
Yeah.
monster, and if you can figure out how to get that out of your life, you can move forward. I
Yeah.
don't mean to be negative, but when you've been doing it all your life, and your body says, "Okay, it's now time for training camp," and this type of thing, it can be difficult.
Yeah, man, it's infectious, Gym life is infectious, and for those people that get an opportunity to be in the gym every single day, um, whether you're a trainer or a fighter, it really is a very infectious uh, thing, and certainly, uh, the camaraderie and the friendships that you make in the gym, uh, galvanize you wanting to be in the gym all the time. And even for myself, as busy as I am all the time, I do my very, very best to get into the gym, 2, 3 times a week. I have a gym in my own home, so I get to work out there as well. But to be able to be in the gym every day is pretty much a luxury, and even for many of the fighters, because many of these upper echelon fighters, they're going from hotel to hotel, working out in gymnasiums, in spas and hotel room workout. I mean, you got to do what you got to do if you're moving around a lot, and but yeah, like being in the gym is definitely infectious, and to be in the ring in front of millions of people watching you both live and then uh, on television, Harold, I think that's almost impossible to get out of your system.
I agree.
When
Being
people are,
in camp is just so much fun for these guys.
yeah,
Yeah, they're away from their parents or their kids or whatever, but they're in camp, and that to them is just bliss. You
it can
know,
be, it can be. A lot of guys, you know how you say it, they cringe when they know they have to go back into camp, especially if they've been off for a while. But you're right. After as you're moving through your career, I think the hardest part of it is having people putting batteries in your back, like, oh, you're good, you're great, you're this, you're that. Can I get a photo with you? Can I have an autograph? Can I do this? Can I do that? Can I do this? That has a way of penetrating into your mind where you really come to need that. It's a shame, because that's in that lies part of the addiction of, like, okay, who am I now? Like, this is who I used to be, but who am I now, and how do I go forward after boxing is over? And I work with a lot of fighters that have retired, and I've had the pleasure of retiring a couple of fighters that mean a lot to me. That you see how they struggle toward the end of their careers, and yes, they want to come back. They think they can come back. Uh, you know, Everything in their mind says they can come back, but the body's gone. The work is you're just not able to do it, and that's a hard thing for any athlete, whether you're a football player or baseball player or boxer or dancer, professional dancer, in all these art forms and martial arts. It's very, very difficult to let go. You know.
And you're young. You're technically young in society when you're no longer able to fight or play
Yeah.
basketball or football. You're just in your early 30s or 20s, and you're done. And you've been doing that since you were like
Yeah.
15 or 14, and now you're done, or you can't get fights anymore.
Yeah.
Things like that. That thing can happen, And case in point, Roy Jones, he was to be complete in America, and he said, "I want to fight on." So he became a Russian citizen, and he was able to go to Russia, and he had many more fights in that area because he wanted to continue. So this type of thing happens, and it's it's something to get over. Some people do a lot of different jobs. I know a Strahan who played football,
Yeah.
and when he retired, he took every accommodating job he could just to fill that void. Good Morning America, NFL, whatever. He said, I had to do something, otherwise I would just fall apart. So a lot of fighters do so many different things. Michael Jordan went and bought a team,
Yeah.
and played on it. And then
Yeah.
he became general manager because he needed that. And that's something that's very addictive. So I know we're kind of beating a dead horse on that, but I wish every fighter who retires to have something that really causes them to fill that void.
Yeah. No, I mean, absolutely, 100%. God is always a good you know place to start for sure, man. If people that don't have God in their life, it's can be very, very difficult, even more so. So
So back to the fights. We have a possible AJ fight with Fury.
yeah.
Now, I don't know how the public's going to look at that. Actually, there's nothing on the line here, other than the bragging rights over in overseas. There, uh, it has some cachet, of course.
Yeah.
It doesn't rattle me. I'm not interested in it at all. What's your thoughts, Mark?
Oh man, I'm always interested in seeing two heavyweights scrap out, man. I think the paying public loves to see heavyweights. It doesn't matter if they're fighting for a belt or not. They love knockouts. They love heavyweights. Who doesn't want to see two heavyweights sling fists and have a great night? It's I think with AJ and these guys, they're always entertaining, and you know whether they have the belt or not, the fans are there. The fans are there for them, and they know how to pack them in. I mean, how do you go from like 120 million, 120 million followers, viewers, in the stadium? You've got anywhere from 80 to 100,000 people watching either one of them. How do you not? How does that not make money? That's a great way to make money. You put good undercards on there, and you stack the card nicely, and you're in the money. It's heavyweights. I mean, I don't see what Alexander Usyk is doing with the belt. I mean, he's got the belts. What I mean? Like what is he doing?
Well, they're not forcing him into his mandatory fights at all. He gets kind of a pass, as Canelo did when he was undisputed.
Right.
So that politic part is working well for him. So this is the next thing that could kind of get the public up behind.
Yeah.
Like you said, when the big boys fight, everybody fight, and the point that the undercard could be of note. They could really put some great stuff on the undercard just because the Sheik can pay the money for the camps to come together and not sacrifice, but put their best fighters against each other. And now that he has this alliance with Eddie Hearn
Yeah.
and Golden Boy and Matchroom, the other gentleman over there, that's good. And I believe some of the prime fighters, Al Heyman's people, are going to be involved as well because that dollar is long, and that dollar can go to a lot of people's situation. And boxing is looking for great fights, and these fights can happen because they've proven, thusly.
Yeah. So I'm very interested in that because I'm trying to figure out um, why all of a sudden are all these guys getting together and banding together? What's happening in the boxing landscape that's forcing Eddie Hearn and De La Hoya and Al Heyman and all these guys to kind of loop in together in an alliance, if you will, almost? What's happening, Harold? Tell the audience
From
what's happening.
from my opinion, the overhead is absorbed by the Sheik, meaning that a lot of expenses are put together for this type of thing to put together are somewhat footed by the Sheik,
Yeah.
which leaves higher profit margins for these promoters. It's just my estimation, and the public wants it, and they know that they can make lesser fights going forward because the public will be endeared to them.
Right.
It's kind of like college football. In college football, the most prevalent people on those teams are the coaches, not the players. The
Yeah.
coaches. The coaches are what it is. In pro football, it's the individual players that the public pay attention to. In
Yeah.
this boxing situation, people are looking for these promoters who go head up with each other to have these tournaments against each other. So with that, along with the fighters and the head-to-head competition between the promoters, putting them on the stage like college football coaches, I think it's a great combination. And as I said before, that money, a lot of expenses are going to be, different because the Sheik is involved.
So I was surprised that you didn't say anything about the UFC or about what's happening with Dana White and
I do have an opinion on that, and I don't think it's really going to touch anything. With they're picking up people, and they're going to have their own belts, and they're going to have this and that and the other. That's fine, but I don't believe, and I don't know if they'll be able to sign any of the major fighters who recognize and desire the four belts that are out there. I don't think any of those guys are going to want to go over there to do that for the less money in that situation. And it's kind of like golf. You got the LIV and you got the PGA. And when that first happened, a lot of people jumped to PGA and went to LIV before the money. But they came back to the PGA because the PGA has the pedigree. The PGA has the overall worldwide recognition. LIV had all the money, but you just could not manufacture or buy the pedigree that the PGA had. And I see the same thing happening with a boxing league in this manner. It works well for the UFC because it's a whole different genre. But I don't believe that a boxing equivalent to that will be successful.
So I've been listening. I mean, I've been listening a lot to what Oscar De La Hoya has been saying, and he's talking a lot about the fact that they're trying to get rid of the Muhammad Ali Act. You heard about that?
Yeah, they want to just kind of augment it so they can put together their own belts and and control the money as they do in UFC. I don't know if it has legs to go or whatever. They're in bed with the current administration, that type of thing. Even if it does get augmented or changed, you have another administration coming in 3 years or 4 years or whatever it is, and they can switch right back. So you really don't know what's going on. But as I can see it, I don't think that the sanctioning bodies will be threatened by him putting that together, because of fighters that he is putting together are not saying no name, but they can't threaten the top 10 in all the sanctioning bodies. And none of those guys who are in the top 10 are going to sign over there with them, because they know that it could hurt their career and their opportunities.
Well, not only that, it certainly can hurt their pocketbooks, because, getting rid of the Muhammad Ali Act opens up you're basically opening up the floodgates to a lot of legal issues in and around boxing that are not good, that have long been rectified to a large extent. It still happens, but the Muhammad Ali Act prevents a lot of things. And if you're not sure, go in and take a look at the Muhammad Ali Act. If you're, for those of you that are tuning in, it limits what promoters and managers can do to the scope of their work and their involvement, and as it relates to fighters and one another, and which really helps. It's a very involved bill, but you definitely should read it and so you understand what in fact it is. But getting rid of that is probably not good. Yeah,
I just see it is a foray into, it's just not going to work. It seems to me a lot of people are up in arms and worried about it, but as long as the big fights still happen, what perplexes me is Dana White and the Sheik are together.
Yeah,
correct. However, the Sheik is continuing to utilize the sanctioning bodies to put together the big fights. It's like he's in both camps at the same time. Whichever one fails, he'll discard. So he's got his foot in on both sides of the line. So he's in bed with the promoters we spoke of earlier, and he's working with White on this league type thing. So we don't know which one is going to be successful. I believe the pedigree of the belts will prevail no matter what, and I just see it as his league will be the USFL of the NFL, and USFL guys do not regularly migrate over the NFL. They just don't. They just don't have the quality to do so. A few of them get over, but it's not a wholesale thing at all. So It's a league that sustains itself. It has TV contracts. It has good players, and the play is good enough to keep your attention when the NFL is not working. But those guys do not migrate into the NFL and become stars or starters or anything like that. It does not happen. So if he's successful with this league, I don't see them migrating over into the other part of the boxing that you and I understand and love, and the world understands and loves.
Yeah. No, definitely. Interesting topics, interesting discussion today on the Boxing Breakdown. Harold, man, I want to thank you for being on the broadcast again. As always, it's always a pleasure to chop it up with you and to get in depth coverage and discussion on the latest topics in boxing. And so thank you so much for being with us today. And yeah, man. And I guess until next time, I'll see you on the next episode of the Boxing Breakdown, right?
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate it. I love this, man. Thank you so much.
Love, brother.
All right.
I'll see you soon, okay? Out.
Fight fans, join host Mark Roxy and special guests as they break down all aspects of the boxing world, including news, business, management, training, promotions, fan reactions, upcoming events, matchups, future boxing stars, title fights, state of the boxing world, and all the stuff you don't see when you watch boxing. This podcast is released each week on Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Live streamed on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook Live. It's the Boxing Breakdown, hosted by Mark Roxy.